Okay, for your entire life, you've been sold this really powerful, really attractive idea about your career. But what if the whole concept of a dream job isn't actually a key to freedom, but a cage? And look, that's not an exaggeration. Seriously. Think about it. From your parents to your teachers to career counselors, the message has been exactly the same, right? Follow your passion, find that one perfect job, and you'll never have to work a day in your life.
Well, that's the fundamental lie we're going to talk about. Because the relentless pursuit of a dream job doesn't actually lead to happiness. It leads to a prison. And it's a prison where the walls are built out of your own fantasies. So how on earth does that happen?
Let's break it down. How does this beautiful, shiny dream turn into a trap? Well, it all starts with how we've been taught to think about things like purpose and passion.
See, this way of thinking creates a really nasty vicious cycle. We start to believe that purpose is some kind of hidden treasure we have to find. This makes us chase a total fantasy, this idealized job where there are no problems, no stress, just pure bliss. But because that perfect job is a myth, it just doesn't exist. The chase only reinforces this nagging feeling of failure. It actually traps us in a loop of dissatisfaction.
And this brings us to the core misunderstanding, the thing that's at the heart of all this confusion. It turns out, most of us, we have the entire concept of passion completely backwards. We think you do great work because you're passionate, but the reality is the exact opposite. You become passionate because you do great work. Passion isn't some magical thing you just find one day. It's a feeling you earn. You earn it through the hard, sometimes boring, process of building rare and valuable skills. It's the reward you get for mastery.
This phenomenon actually has a name. It's called the backwards law, and it makes perfect sense when you think about it. By constantly, desperately searching for passion, you're sending a nonstop message to your brain. I don't have it yet, I'm still missing something. And that reinforces a sense of lack, which ironically pushes the very feeling you're chasing further and further away.
This is the perfect analogy, right? A dog can never ever catch its tail because, well, the tail is part of the dog. The act of chasing is the very reason it can't be caught. And it's the same thing with us. The frantic, anxious search for passion is the very thing that prevents us from doing the work that would actually create it in the first place.
Okay, so if the dream job is a myth, what's the alternative? Where do we go from here? It's about being brutally honest with yourself and choosing what kind of difficulty you're actually willing to put up with. Or, as we're going to call it, choosing your suck sandwich.
Here's what I mean. We all fall in love with the result. The corner office, the title, the standing ovation. But we totally ignore the process that gets you there. The reality of being a high-powered CEO isn't just the fancy title, it's the 80-hour work weeks and the constant crushing stress. And a famous musician's life? It's built on a foundation of thousands and thousands of hours of lonely, repetitive practice. Every single glamorous outcome has an unglamorous suck sandwich that comes with it.
And this quote just reframes the entire goal perfectly. The objective isn't to find a career with zero struggles. Come on, that's impossible. The real goal is to find problems you actually want to solve, to find a struggle that feels meaningful to you.
So that's the new definition. That's the new goal. A truly great career isn't easy. It's one where you are willing and maybe even energized to tackle its inherent struggles day in and day out. All right, so we've torn down the whole myth. What do we build in its place? This is where a really simple but incredibly powerful idea comes in. It's called the do something principle.
So instead of sitting around waiting for some lightning bolt of inspiration to strike you, you just act. You just do something. Don't think about becoming a master coder. Just write one single line of code. Don't dream about writing a novel. Just write one sentence. That tiny little action creates a tiny bit of momentum. And that momentum creates a little spark of inspiration, which then fuels the next action. You see? Motivation isn't the cause of action, it's the effect.
But hold on, there's one more prison we have to talk about escaping. Because to truly break free, you also have to escape the prison of what other people expect from you. Think about it like this for a second. If you don't define your own priorities in life, the world will be more than happy to give you theirs. Your parents, your friends, social media, they all have this gumball machine of values they want you to live by. And if you're not careful, you could wake up at 40 and realize the career you've spent decades building was just to get a thumbs up from people who don't really matter to you. So what holds us back? It's this deep fear of judgment. We all suffer from something called the spotlight effect, this mistaken belief that everyone is intensely focused on our choices. But here's the liberating truth. They're not. They're not watching you. They're the main character in their own movie, just like you are in yours. They are way too worried about their own lives to obsess over yours.
And that brings us to a really hard truth, but an important one. If you want a life that is truly, authentically your own, you must be willing to disappoint some people. Having real values means you stand for something, and when you stand for something, not everyone is going to like it, and that has to be okay.
So let's end on this. The question isn't what is my passion, and it's definitely not what is my dream job. The real question, the one that actually leads to a meaningful life and a fulfilling career, is this one. What problem do you want to have? What struggle feels so important that you're willing to embrace the process, the practice, and all the sacrifice that comes with it? Because that is where you'll find your answer.